Day 4 of rain. The herd is still out there, the spears are ready, but the tracks are gone, the route is underwater, and the fire is starting to die. There's no hunt, no dry path, and no clear job to do. From outside the shelter, the group looks trapped, almost idle. Now bring that storm into a modern room. The heat is on, food is ready. One canceled plan should feel like a chance to rest. Instead, your body keeps asking, what now? That reaction makes sense. Ancient humans survived because when the path closed, their attention shifted to a different job. The hunt stopped. The work moved inside. So what does human attention do when the usual path disappears?
Rain cancels the hike, the outdoor job, or the plan you built your whole day around. You sit down, check the time, and quietly decide the day is no longer useful. Nothing's actually wrong. The room is warm, food is nearby, but your attention keeps searching for the task that disappeared. Now carry that feeling into an ancient shelter. The herd is not vanished, but access to it has. Tracks are washing away, the route is flooded, dry fuel is getting harder to replace. Forcing the hunt now could waste energy, damage equipment, or injure someone the group will still need tomorrow. So the order of needs changes. Keep the fire going. Protect the dry bindings. Do not waste the remaining food. Repair whatever must be ready when the weather clears. The path disappeared, so the work changed.
Part of this is behavioral flexibility. When one useful action becomes impossible, humans can redirect their effort toward another action that protects future options. Archaeologists can see signs of that organization in shelter floors, repeated hearths, stone flakes, food remains, bedding, and separate areas where different kinds of work took place. That evidence cannot recreate one exact rainy afternoon, but it does show that shelters were not simply waiting rooms. Modern homes make this quieter kind of work easier to overlook. A roof that holds, food that stays cold, and equipment that remains ready produce no dramatic result. Maintenance seems small until it stops working. The day looked empty because the work had moved out of sight. Some people still feel the absence of the original task before they can recognize the new one. The group was not waiting for life to begin again. It was protecting what life would need when the path reopened. But every quiet task inside the shelter depended on one fragile system making it through the storm. During a storm, the lights flicker once. Nobody panics, but someone immediately plugs in the phone, finds the flashlight, checks the refrigerator, and moves the dry supplies away from the leak. Nothing has failed yet. That is exactly why the work matters. One weak system can quietly contain several choices within it. Lose power, and you may also lose light, communication, stored food, and the ability to solve the next problem easily. An ancient firekeeper faced the same calculation, only without a switch to turn the power back on. Rain darkens the entrance to the shelter. Dry fuel is limited. The flame burns lower. One person crouches beside it, carefully feeding the fire while everyone else seems to be doing more important work.
But consider what would disappear if that flame went out. Heat for wet bodies, light for repairing a binding or shaping an edge, and a way to cook food, dry materials, and keep useful work going after daylight faded. The fire was not just one source of comfort. It held several future choices inside one fragile system. Archaeologists have found evidence of deep and repeated fire use at places like Wonderwork Cave and Keesum Cave. At Keesum, a central hearth that was used repeatedly was associated with organized activity around it. That evidence does not reveal one specific rainy week. It shows something quieter. Fire had become part of how people organized occupied space and human activity. Now, watch the firekeeper for an hour. No new animal arrives. No finished spear appears. The person may barely move except to reach for another piece of dry fuel. From the outside, it may look like the least productive role. Within the system, however, it may be protecting the greatest number of possibilities. Modern humans still do this. We charge equipment before an outage, repair a roof before the water gets in, or replace a weak part before a trip begins. Preventative work only feels excessive while the system is still functioning. Maintenance keeps tomorrow available. The firekeeper was not failing to move forward.
The firekeeper was protecting every task that still depended on the flame. And once the fire, shelter, and tools were stable, the most fragile thing left to preserve may not have been an object at all. Once the fire, shelter, and tools were secure, the group could protect something less visible, a skill. When a storm disrupts a modern home, one person might show another how to cook without electricity, stop a leak, or tie something securely. The repaired object is easy to see. The useful pattern being passed into another person's mind is not. Now we turn to the ancient shelter. One person tightens a binding, while another watches. A hand is corrected. The knot is loosened and tied again. Someone explains where water may collect after the rain, or which route will still be passable once the ground begins to dry. Their bodies may appear almost still, but practical knowledge is moving between them. This is cumulative cultural transmission. In plain English, a skill becomes harder to lose when more than one person knows how to perform it.
Demonstration turns a private ability into shared protection. Repetition keeps the movement familiar and available. Correction prevents a small mistake from becoming the version everyone remembers. The most important result may not be the repaired spear. It may be the second person who can repair the next one. Research by Polly Widsner offers a useful modern comparison. In Juhawansi communities, conversations around the fire often moved beyond immediate daytime tasks and towards stories, relationships, and broader shared knowledge. That doesn't tell us exactly what Paleolithic people discussed during a storm, but it does show how a protected social space can change what people have time to pass on to one another. Modern homes hide much of this unfinished work. Heat continues automatically. Food is already stored. Tools arrive ready to use.
A service handles the repair. A screen fills the pause before our attention can find another purpose. So a canceled rainy day may feel strangely empty even when nothing important is missing. The body is safe. The job is unclear. The storm stopped movement, but it did not stop human usefulness. Waiting is not the same as wasting time, and preparing isn't the same as being unable to rest. The next time rain closes the visible path, notice what your attention does. Does it recognize that the job has changed? Or does it become uneasy because the day no longer seems to require anything from you? Rest is not uselessness. Rain did not create human creativity. It revealed what humans do when the usual path closes. And the next question is harder. What happened when the fire finally went out?
Ancient humans didn't survive storms by pretending the rules hadn't changed. They stopped asking, how do we keep hunting, and started protecting what they would need once hunting became possible again. A single ember, dry materials, usable tools, whatever food remained, and knowledge shared by more than one person. What looked like waiting was actually preparation for the future. Today, much of that preparation happens before you even notice it. The heat stays on, food is stored and ready, finished tools are within reach. Someone else keeps the systems around you running. So when rain wipes out the plan you could see, and your mind keeps searching for another way to be useful, there's a reason for that. The task disappeared, but the old instinct to look for useful work didn't. Waiting is not the same as wasting time. Preparing is not the same as being unable to rest. And rest is not useless. Rain didn't create human creativity. It revealed what humans do when the usual path is closed. And the next question is harder. What happened when the fire finally went out?